Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Mr. Yurko here, and today we're going to go ahead and create a dimensioned drawing of this part in CAD. So we're going to learn how to make the part from a drawing that you have on paper, and then we're going to go ahead and move that part over to a CAD drawing like this one here. So and then we're going to go ahead and dimension it. So we're going to make the model. Go ahead through all the phases of what it takes to turn your paper and pencil sketch, like we have in the upper right hand corner of the screen, into a model that looks like this one. I'll even show you how to add colors to the faces. And then we're going to go ahead and create a drawing that we can print out with our object and all of our dimensions on it. So to get that started, we're going to go ahead and start a new document in OnShape. And we'll be at our OnShape main page. We're going to click Create. We're going to drop down and choose Document. Let's go ahead and call that document CAD Drawing and Dimensioning Practice. How do I spell it correctly? Alright, click OK. This of course opens it up to an OnShape workspace where we can see our main starter planes, front, right, and top. The object we're going to create is a block with some features cut from it. So we'll go ahead and start by making that block on our front plane. We're going to click Sketch as the first step, and then we're going to click Front on the front plane. At this point, if you tap the N key on your keyboard, letter N, that will turn so you're looking straight on the sketch that you've created. If you tap the letter P, like pizza, on your keyboard for planes, then you will make the planes disappear. You can tap the P key anytime to turn the planes on and off if you want to see them again. And as far as N, if you tap the N key, as you flip that, it'll flip you from the front of the sketch to the back of the sketch. Alright, let's go ahead and make that block. Up on our tool ribbon, you'll see we're now in the sketch. We're in sketch 1. We click when we find our tools, we're going to go ahead and start with a rectangle. We can choose any of these 3 rectangle options. For this one, we're going to go ahead and go with a center point rectangle. I click this, so we'll click center point rectangle, or the R on your keyboard is the shortcut for that. Bring our mouse to the center of the screen, find the origin. When the origin highlights yellow, we're going to click and release and move the mouse outward to set the rectangle. A click will set the rectangle and put you in the mode where you can start dimensioning. If I want to dimension, I can just type right now while the text is highlighted. You can see the horizontal measurement is highlighted. So I can type 2, enter, 1.5, enter, and that will give you the height and width of the rectangle. You can see all the things have turned black. If I forgot to do that, or if I need to change the dimension, I can either delete the dimensions, or I can always go back and grab the dimension tool from the top of the toolbar. Now notice right now the dimension, the rectangle has blue outlines. The inside is shaded blue, that's good, and the outside is blue. So what this means is we have a closed entity. If you come here and you see with my lines, this is not closed and it's blue. So blue means blue is both good and bad. Blue shaded is good. It's a closed entity, which means I can do the next step. But blue lines means it's incomplete. So if I bring these close together, you see nothing. One of these close, you see the triangle turns blue. So whenever shape is shaded blue, you'll be able to go on to the next step. And when the blue lines are there, that means we haven't finished dimensioning it, and it can still be adjusted. So we want to make sure that we apply a horizontal dimension and there's two different ways to apply the measurements after the fact like this. So I can first click the dimension, and click on the line, release the mouse, click again to set, and then type in my value, which, looking back at my drawing up here, was 2 units. And then the height, in drawing right here, you can see it's 1.5 units, and then enter. I'll click to set, 1.5, enter. So now you see the lines turn black, and if I try to push and pull on any part of the object, it doesn't move and it doesn't change. All right, I'm going to go into my isometric view, so I'm just going to finish the sketch and then right click and choose isometric. Zoom out a little bit by rolling the mouse wheel down. Remember, just a quick overview, right click orbits and selects new gives you new pop-up menus. Rolling the mouse wheel zooms in and out. Pushing down on the mouse wheel allows you to pan around the screen. And left click and drag allows you to select things. Right click and drag orbits. So again, I'm going to do my isometric view, and now the next thing we're going to do is add an extrusion. So the extrusion tool is immediately to the right of sketch. So again, in CAD, we typically work from left to right. Our first and most used tool is sketch. Our next most used tool is extrusion. So we'll click extrusion. Click the area that we want to extrude. I'm going to call this main. Just when I hit my caps lock on, I call that main, just so that I know that's my main block, because that's the overall original block that we're going to work from. The thickness we're going to extrude that is visible up here in my case, in the top view. You see the overall depth is 0.5 inches. So we'll highlight the 1 inch and type in 0.5. No, I said 1 inch. It's 0.5. The overall dimension was 1. There is a second dimension of 0.5. So there you go. So we now have our block. It's 1.5 inches tall. It is 2 inches wide. It is 1 inch deep. That's the overall size of this block. Now we're going to go ahead and start cutting our features away. We'll start by cutting away this upper right corner. So I'm going to create a sketch. Just create new geometry. I'm going to click on the front face of our block. I'm going to go ahead and rotate that normal. So tap the N for normal key on the keyboard. And we're going to take our line tool now and draw the corners. So from the line along the top to the edge along the right side, anywhere along that edge, except I'm going to avoid tapping the midpoints. I just want to be somewhere along that edge. Now that I've done that, we'll go ahead and close that triangle out by clicking on the corner and then clicking on the first starting point. That will give us a triangle. You'll see that I got a black edge here, a black edge here, a blue edge here. So this is not fully defined. That means we need to apply more dimensions. What are the dimensions we need? Well, I don't really know how long the legs of the triangle are. Not by my drawing, because I use datum dimensioning. So what I can do is I can measure just like we did here and use datum dimensioning. So we're going to click the dimension tool. And we're going to measure from the upper left corner of the object, which won't give me a grip point, so I'm just going to click this left edge. Click this left edge and this right point, this first point of the triangle. I'm going to click and release, and looking at my drawing, you can see it's 1.5 inches to that point. Now on the right side, from the bottom of the object, from our data point at the bottom, up to the starting point, that's 0.75. We'll take that dimension tool again and go from the bottom up to the beginning of the triangle and 0.75. Looking at the, so that's everything we need to draw in that view. So we're just going to call that, we're just going to leave that, we're going to leave that alone. And we're going to right click and choose isometric. So we're going to take this and we're going to push it all the way across. You'll notice that in our drawing it cuts all the way across. So we're going to, just like we did before, we're going to go ahead and use the extrude button. This time we're going to choose a remove, because it's not a new feature, or it's not a new part. We're not adding, we're removing. So we're going to choose the face that we want to remove. How far are we going to go? Well, last time we went a blind distance of 1 inch. This time we're going to choose through all. And we're merged with part 1. There's part 1, so we're in good shape. Hit the green check. And we're almost done. Now it's time to go ahead and add the second feature. This is also going to be sketched on the front face. You can tap the N key for normal to get you to the front plane. And we're going to use the line tool. And this time simply we're just going to click somewhere along the top, off to the left, and then come down towards the bottom, somewhere along the bottom. And that's all I need for that sketch. We'll finish that. We're going to go ahead now. Oops, I take that back. That's all the lines I need for that sketch, but I do need to dimension it. So we're going to hit the dimension tool. And we're going to measure again from our leftmost point to the upper point of the line. And we're going to click and release. And looking at our drawing, you see that's 0.5 inches. And then at the bottom, we need to put another dimension there. And in my drawing, I'm finding that the measurement is visible from the top, up in the top view. So we're measuring over 1.25 inches. And now we're finished. And you see the line is black, so we're ready to roll. We're going to go ahead and hit that isometric view again. And then click extrude. Again, it's a remove. We're going to remove a little bit of material. This time it is blind because we are going to have a stop depth. This time, based on our drawing, we're going to a depth of 0.5 inches. The area we're removing is right there. And there we have our part. If I'm going to add colors to the faces like I did before, just right click on the face, choose add appearance to face, and then green check, right click, add appearance to face, colors, green check, add appearance to face, and you can repeat this as you go around looking for colors that match what you're looking for. Right click. It's the very last, add appearance to face is the very last one at the bottom. If you don't find a color that you're looking for, just click the mixer button and you can choose colors and then move this dot around. There you go. And we'll leave that blue. Let's pick a different blue. Add appearance to face. Like an aqua. There you go. And then we'll make that add appearance to face for the last face. And that was in green. The mixer button. Move that up towards the right. There you go. So that's how you get this far. Now, to turn that into a drawing, we're going to hit the plus sign. And we'll click Create Drawing. Now we're going to take no views and click OK. And this part is a lot easier than you think it's going to be. We're just going to click on the part. When it pops up, you'll see the dialog box here already is ready with us, for us, with the part. This is our insert part menu, and we'll just pick the part that we have and place it in the lower left corner of our page. So let's just click one time. So you put your mouse over here, you click and release one time, and then wherever you put your mouse next, we'll place the next view. So we'll go ahead and place one above, and click and release. Now you can see our projected views button is currently highlighted. So to use that for the next one, I'm just going to click and release on the front view, move the mouse over to the right, and click and release. We'll do that again, click and release on the front view, and move your mouse up into the right corner, click and release. Go ahead and tap the escape key to get out of that tool. We don't need to add any more views. Or right click on my isometric view, and we're going to choose the show hide button and choose to show the shaded view. And now it's just a matter of adding the dimensions that we have on our drawing. So we worked all this out in our when we did our sketching. So the sketch that you can see in the upper right hand corner of your screen should be done already, and you should have checked all your dimensions. So let's go ahead and work those out. Working 0.75. All right, one thing you notice this says 0.750, and my drawing it says 0.75. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my drawing properties, sheet properties. So I want to set my drawing properties up, and my precision is going to be 0.12. So it's 2 places, not 3. So that way I don't have to adjust that with each one. All right, let's go back to my dimension. So you tap the D on your keyboard or click the little dimension icon at the top of the screen. 0.75, 1.50, 0.50, 100. So those are all of our vertical dimensions. Working across the top. And there's our first horizontal dimension. There's our second horizontal dimension. Third. And final is the overall. And that's all the dimensions we need. Now here's an interesting thing. If you notice, we were able to completely dimension this entire model without putting any dimensions on the right side. So if you've done that, it's probably a good idea to look to make sure that you've chosen the best placement for those dimensions, so you have the fewest number of lines crossing, so that all the dimensions are in the neatest and cleanest place. And if that's true, well, we don't need this other view. So now this is our final drawing. All right. Hopefully that worked out for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And as always,